Hello guys, so my name is Ankit Kumar from AllBiolect. Today we will again start with the new video, obviously DNA polymerase, or as I like to call it, the Eminem of the cell. So why is it so? Basically, the speed at which DNA polymerase can replicate or help in new DNA synthesis is typically very high. It's like Eminem wrapping. That is why I like to compare these two entities together. The discoverer for this enzyme was obviously Sir Arthur Kornberg, and he gave DNA polymerase the recognition it needed. And the Gopnik is always excited about this new information, except for the Spritzik and vodka. Next, the DNA synthesis by the DNA polymerase, it is essentially a semi-conservative process. So there are different kind of processes or different kind of theories that arose during the debate about how the DNA synthesis takes place inside the cell. So in semi-conservative process, what happens is that one template strand, as I have shown here in red, is already present. This is also called the old strand, and taking this template strand, a new strand can be synthesized. So this is how it basically works. Obviously, this semi-conservative process of DNA polymerase is pretty interesting, but Eminem is not like that much semi-conservative or conservative at the worst part. So basically, I have shown these two images with the DNA polymerase cartoon and the Eminem. Eminem is showing something that I cannot show in YouTube right now. And DNA polymerase is simple, friendly enzyme that helps in your bodily process. Next, we come to the process of DNA polymerase and how it adds the next base to a already existing primer or a already existing DNA, which can be broken at some times. So what happens is that, first of all, DNA polymerase is very fast. It adds about 50 nucleotides per second. And in case of RapGod, he can only do 6.46 words per second. So one person is doing 6.46 words per second and the another is doing 50 nucleotides per second. So that's a pretty high rate. And how this thing happens is that DNA polymerase, or our Eminem in this case, it takes help of the template strand. And in the template strand, after the primer, there is essentially a 3' OH group free in case of bases. So I've already dealt about the nucleotides in my earlier videos. So what happens is that this 3' OH is basically a nucleophile, and a nucleophile loves nucleus. So it is able to attack the incoming DNTP. When it does so, what happens is that the incoming DNTPs contains a triphosphate. Out of that, 2-phosphate in the form of pyrophosphate is basically separated out. And this pyrophosphate is again, converted to 2 individual phosphates with the help of an enzyme called pyrophosphatase. This actually helps in creation of energy. The bond between the phosphates, when they are broken down, energy is released, which helps in the forward reaction or the synthesis of the DNA in this case. As you can know that del G of the DNA replication is actually less than what is required for the process to be essentially spontaneous. So this labeling over here shows that how, not this one, shows that how the incoming DNTPs are attacked by the 3' OH, and essentially the gamma and beta phosphates are separated out. So this gamma and beta phosphates are separated out, and these are again broken down by the pyrophosphatase, although that part is not shown over here. Next, so basically there are different steps in the DNA replication. That is, first, helicase will open a particular site at the DNA. That site must be always AT. Now why AT and not GC? GC contains 3 bond pairings between it. So breaking 3 bond is basically much difficult than breaking 2 bonds. Then there is something that holds the strands together, and then basically RNA primer is added. So RNA primase is another enzyme that helps in this process. And then after the primer, the synthesis of the DNA essentially starts. Now Though synthesis is also known as the initiation step. So what happens in initiation? DNA synthesis occurs at particular points known as the origins. They are also known as the origins of replication. Now these origin of replication are targeted by some initiator proteins. These initiator proteins help into recruit different kind of proteins into the origin region, and these are essentially helping in the process of replication by loading of the DNA polymerase along with other enzymes which are helping the DNA polymerase in its function. Multiple origin sites exist within the DNA structure, and the DNA replication essentially begins at these known as a replication fork. So basically a replication fork occurs, and in those replication forks which have been formed, the DNA replication starts to happen. Within this replication complex is also a DNA helicase. This enzyme unwinds the double helix and exposes each of the two strands so that they can be used as a template for replication. Basically, it does this by hydrolyzing the ATP, and the energy obtained by hydrolyzing the ATP can be used to break the bond between the nucleobases. Now we also have DNA primase. It is another enzyme which helps in the DNA replication by synthesizing the RNA primer, as I've already mentioned, and it is known as the kickstarter. Basically, if RNA primase is absent, then DNA replication will not proceed or not initiate. This enzyme is ultimately responsible for the creation of new strands of DNA and essentially expanding the segment. Next we come to elongation. So after initiation, we need to know about the elongation process. Basically in elongation, there is addition of new nucleobases, and these are essentially done by the DNA polymerase, and this is done in contrast or with comparing to or with the help of the template strand. So a template is always required for a new DNA strand to be formed. So basically a newly formed DNA strand or DNA duplex would consist of an old strand and a new strand. So once the template strand is there, is read in the 3' to 5' direction, therefore the new strand will be formed in 5' to 3' direction, just the reverse. This newly formed strand is referred to as a leading strand. So along this leading strand, the strand which is continually being replicated, DNA primase only needs to synthesize an RNA primer once. But in case of the lagging strand, as we know that DNA polymerase can only move in one direction. So there is a certain thing known as a trombone model of replication, which we will discuss later in our segments of videos. But basically this DNA polymerase, that is like we are considering that this DNA polymerase is able to extend the DNA strand by reading the template and synthesizing 3' to 5'. And for the lagging strand, at each gaps there is a requirement for the formation of a new primer. So basically lagging strand essentially lags a little in the process of replication. Continuous gene synthesis occurs in the leading strand, and thus lagging strand, there are different segments of or chunks of DNA formed because of the new primers. So these are known as the Okazaki fragments. So basically what are Okazaki fragments? These are nothing but the primer which is added, and after the primer in the lagging part, that is the opposite direction, there is essentially a slight replication or replication up to a certain number of base, and then the replication is again slipped out and the leading strand is again continued. So by this process, the leading strand must move a considerable distance before the lagging strand can be replicated, and essentially while doing this there is a need for primer at every junction, and these primer are actually quite attached, and along with the newly synthesized DNA strands, which are known as the Okazaki fragments. So these Okazaki fragments are essentially very important in this case. Next we come to termination. So basically termination is a process of the expanding of the new DNA strands, and when there is no more DNA template, then the process should terminate. In order to terminate, there is a need for the meeting of the two replication forks, and is not regulated and happens randomly along the course of the chromosome. It's not regulated, but it might be regulated in certain cases. So basically, if for termination to occur, the replicon or the circular DNA must meet at a particular point. So once the DNA synthesis is finished, the newly synthesized strands are bound and stabilized. For the lagging strand, two enzymes are needed to achieve this. One is the RNase H. This removes the RNA primer from the DNA hybrid. So this RNase H is able to remove all the RNA primers, and the DNA ligase, which is over there, it joins the fragments from where the RNA primers have been removed, and this DNA ligase actually completes the process of the creation of the lagging strand. So after this, I would just recommend you all to get a Gopnik break, because it's basically a slough kind of video I'm trying to do. Just a little funny video I tried to do, nothing else. So after break, we will also learn about a process, essentially a disease, that is caused due to this kind of mistakes in the DNA polymerase. What happens is that DNA polymerase is adding like 300 nucleotides per minute. So while doing this, what happens is that at some point it may be putting some wrong base, and while this happens, there is something known as single base substitution, where only one base is changed for another. This can lead to silent mutation in the overall gene. But in certain cases, these mutations can also be very vast, like adenine can be converted to thymine. And while doing this, as we know that from DNA we are getting the RNAs, and from the RNAs we are getting the proteins. So what happens is that during this translation, the thymine base, so it is swapped for thymine base, adenine base is swapped for thymine base. So what happens is in the protein of this polypeptide chain, the amino acids are being changed. That is, glutamic acid will be replaced by valine. And while this happens, what happens is that for glutamic acid, it is very hydrophilic, but valine is hydrophobic. So this hydrophobic region results in hemoglobin having an abnormal structure, a sickle-like structure that can cause blockage of capillaries, leading to something known as ischemia, and potentially necrosis of tissues and organs, where the sickle cell hemoglobin or hemoglobin cells, which are been shaped like a sickle, they come and clog, and this is known as the vaso-occlusive crisis. So basically, in this little slide that I've created, we are able to learn about the discoverer of the enzyme, Arthur Kornberg. So it's also called Kornberg enzyme. After that, we had some fun about the Gopniks, Slav Gopnik and all that. And then we have learned about how the process of replication takes place in a very simple and lucid way. However, in different cases, there are different segments of the DNA polymerase. So this is two DNA polymerases been compared. I will again make a new video about the different kind of DNA polymerases. But in these cases, there is section where synthesis occurs in DNA polymerase, a section where proofreading occurs, and a section where primer removal is also occurring. So this primer removal is like the RNase H function. So basically, after that we learned about the initiation, how initiation takes place. After that we learned about the elongation, and finally the termination. So this is a rough diagram where we can see that how the DNA polymerase are replicating and it's in action. So this is a lagging strand over here, and this is a leading strand in the downward side. So what happens is that this lagging strand, it is synthesized, as we can see the Okazaki fragments. These are small pieces of DNA after a primer, and this triangle, this blue triangle, is known as the helicase. So basically this helicase and this topoisomerase, basically they are unwinding and helping the DNA to relax in the front portion, while DNA polymerase Pol delta and Pol alpha, where Pol delta is basically helping in the leading strand synthesis and the alpha in the lagging strand, as it is shown in the figure. And there is a RNA primer, those are designed by the RNA primase. There is a DNA primase also over here, and we also have single strand binding protein. So these SSB proteins, what happens is that as a DNA is synthesized essentially as one single strand, and one single strand is very much what to say, responsive to attack from exonuclease and endonuclease of the cell, or the nucleases of the cell. So to protect this DNA, single stranded DNA, from these exo or endonucleases, we need this kind of single strand binding proteins which basically cover the entire length of the DNA. So with this we actually get a rough idea about how the DNA replication is been taking place inside our body. After that we need a sukha blat or vodka break, and then we come to the sickle cell anemia. So finally I would like to say this video is after a much longer period of time, so I hope you have enjoyed my video, and please thank you, and please subscribe to my channel. Although I provide video after a very long time or very long interval, but still I would say that please subscribe to my channel, and also thank you, press F to pay respects. Why? You can read this part after pausing it. Thank you. Bye.